Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for our next contest of the evening. 3 5-minute rounds of fighting in the lightweight division. Your referee for this contest is Mark Woodard. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner. This man is a wrestling fighter with a professional record of 7 wins, 6 losses, with 1 win coming by TKO. He stands 5 feet 9 inches tall, and he weighed in at 152 pounds, fighting out of Belfast, Ireland. Ladies and gentlemen, Peter Slam Duncan. His opponent fighting out of the blue corner. This man is a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 17 wins, 8 losses, with 8 wins coming by TKO. He stands 5 feet 11 inches tall, and he weighed in at 155 pounds, fighting out of Doncaster, South Yorkshire, England. Ladies and gentlemen, Jason Daddy Cool Ball.
So the cage door shuts. Mark Woodard, our referee, brings the 2 guys together and they're straight off.
Good lead kick from Duncan. Duncan standing southpaw. And when you stand southpaw, it's very important. Hold on a second. I think Ball is standing southpaw
He
also.
is as well. Yeah, they're both southpaws.
Wow, that's a little bit surprising. He's going to have to be careful when he closes down that distance. With the chin up in the air, Jason Ball may want to try to touch it on the way in.
Well, the one thing he didn't try to do, was there's no setup at all there, Pierre. And it's a dangerous game, as you said, not to set up a shoot.
Yeah, now look at the flexibility there shown by Ball. I mean, Duncan had that leg all the way up to the ceiling, and he still wasn't able to take Ball down. Now look at that. Ball has switched stance. He started out. Ooh.
Nice right hand, then the left as well, Pierre. Sorry to interrupt you there, but it was a sweet, sweet right hand, then the left to follow. As you said, from switching stance.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of thrown Duncan off a little bit because he's thrown lead hand one way, and then next thing you know, he's throwing lead hand the other way. It would definitely mix me up. However, saying that, he's trying to control the clinch here. Good knee up the middle. Again, he goes to the knee again to Ball.
And there was some nice little dirty boxing on the inside there, and an elbow attempt from Duncan as well. So he's recovered from that little trick of Jason Ball's there. Beautiful switch, and it worked superbly for him with that right hand, left hand combination.
That was a very good combination, and it did set up some things. However, I think that Duncan has recovered. Now he's pressing the action with Ball up against the cage, and now look at that. Very smart fighting. Use the shoulder barge to get Ball's attention.
Yes, and as we've said so many times, when they're in the clinch there, you really do gauge so much about your opponent, don't you?
Now, Duncan looks still a little bit wobbly. I'm not sure what's going on here. Now look at the crisp boxing right there. Punches and bunches, good sprawl by Ball. Ball pushing off on the head. Duncan wasn't able to complete that takedown.
Well, as we know, Pierre, you know when they're a bit wobbly, when suddenly they go for a shoot that isn't set up. He felt hurt, he got hurt, and he went instinctively for the shoot.
Now the knees by Duncan, they're coming straight up. Oh wow, I think that shot connected because the head of Duncan whipped back and forth. But again, with those the tie clinch, if you're going to throw those knees, it's better to push-pull, so that way you're getting more momentum into your shots. Good punches by Ball.
As we expected, Pierre, but one thing I find, mentioning something you touched on earlier, is the way he stands. Peter Duncan is like an old-fashioned bare-knuckle boxer.
Reminiscent of the days of old. And again, now that was a good body shot. You don't see that much now. His head is left up as a target. I mean, the hands are down, chin up. And sooner or later, Jason Ball might find that target because it's just hanging out there.
Well, for me, it is that old-style bare-knuckle. And it's a dangerous game to play because we've seen already, Ball is very fluent with the combinations, punches in bunches. And this could be this young man's downfall, Duncan, unless he gets that chin down.
Yeah, and the correct way, nice shoot, however, defended again by Ball. Ball's pushing down on the head because he can't complete that takedown if he's pushing down on the head because you're not going to move your body past your head, if that makes sense.
That's right, but the first time that Duncan actually tried to set up the takedown as well.
Ooh, good little chopping right. Ooh, good kick returned by Duncan. Both guys are not scared to throw down here in the first, that's for sure.
No, that's what's making this so good. We've had some heavy hits land. And Duncan's got his chin down there, but there it goes, good back up. When he goes with that knee, his chin is floating there in the air.
And that's a dangerous, dangerous thing to do, especially with somebody of Ball's caliber. All right, now Jason, what he needs to do is he needs to get his back up off the cage. He needs to keep the hips close to the hips of Duncan, possibly work in the inside to get a clinch of his own.
Nice turn, as you said that, by Ball. Couldn't quite complete it and slip out the gate, but one thing I will say about Peter Duncan, he's taken enough heavy shots there that could quite easily stop a fight. We've seen it happen in the past. He's got a very rock-solid chin himself. We talked about Ball's chin. Let's look about Duncan's chin. He's taken some heavy shots here tonight.
But here's the thing. If you're a smart fighter, you don't want to prove your points. Not only, if you don't get knocked out, you're still allowing your opponent to rack up the points. And sooner or later. Now, I don't know if you noticed that. I believe there was a foot stomp there. And I don't know if that's legal. I have to ask the ref. However, saying they get back to action, Duncan slipped the jab, tried to come in for a clinch, Ball pushing him off, and again, they're at range. Inside kick again. Oh, good little chop and lift from Duncan. Now, Duncan is really hanging that head out there.
That said, he's still there at the end of the round, and he doesn't look hurt. Very tough customer, but I think for the overall control, I would go with Jason Ball in that round.
And I would have to agree with you. I think that looking at the replay here, now he's trying to get that single leg. However, Ball is pushing off on the head. Now look at the flexibility. I believe this is when he puts the leg really high up to say, look at that. And he's steadily throwing punches. Now I love that he's defending, but at the same time, he's throwing offense of his own. Good punch there by Duncan. Both guys are, ready to throw down and throw the leather.
Yeah, slight mark under the eye of Ball, but if you're going to get marked up anyway, it's a good place under the eye.
Again, we talked about that previously because you don't want blood flowing into the eye and messing with your ability to see where punches are coming from. Beautiful ladies of BAMMA there.
Yeah, we talked about the eyes. That was the eye candy. And now we're back with Duncan.
And Jason Ball here to start the second.
So the cage door shuts once more.
And we have Peter Duncan, the Cham Sut fighter, versus Jason Ball out of Manvers Fight Factory.
And we had an excellent first round. As you said, both men happy to mix it, but I am fascinated by that fighting stance of Duncan.
It's very old-timey. Let's draw a chalk on the floor and duke it out. Good uppercut from Jason Ball, just missing the mark. However, now I like how he angled those shots. Now, he's going to have to keep his balance underneath him because you don't want Jason Ball on top of you.
And the other thing that I found fascinating is, with their records, the amount of submissions in those records, yet we've had a stand-up war.
Yeah, and talking about the stand-up war, how we're saying that, Duncan tries for that single leg. Now, he hasn't been successful with this takedown yet. And I think Jason Ball has kind of figured that out. So I would say Duncan needs to switch up takedown attempt. And
he had a right hand there from Ball as well for his troubles.
Now, I can't see from this vantage point, but I'm wondering if Duncan has a slight cut, or it might be just red marks.
Well, he's reddened across the back, the chest, the forehead, and a lot of these Irish fighters, I know and there is blood, I'm sure, between the eyes, as well as the reddening. He's definitely cut on the bridge of the nose. It's a big cut on the bridge of his nose.
Okay, now again, another single leg. Now, what I would like for him to do is maybe, let's get behind some punches when you attempt that single leg shot. Then if he tries to defend the single leg, we need to switch over possibly to a double leg, which means grabbing both legs, or a high crotch, which means driving your arm up and through the center line, the crotch, and picking them up and slamming them down.
Because being blunt, he's become predictable at that, hasn't he?
Yeah, for sure. And you don't want to be predictable in anything you do, whether it be the strike, and look at the cut on Duncan.
It is on the bridge of his nose, Pierre, most definitely. Yeah.
Jason Ball looking to circle out. Both guys throwing knees with the clinch now. Ball has the inside. However, Duncan, big knee, and he is out.
We are over.
First knockout of the evening here tonight, being administered by Jason Ball. I want to see the replay because I don't really know how that happened.
It was
other
a big
than the
knee. Big knee. He was out before he hit the deck.
Let's see if we can catch that on replay. That was a highlight reel and a half by Jason Ball. Now, I just want to say that fighter safety is paramount here. You have the, on-scene medics administering care immediately to the fallen fighter, and standing victorious here right now, Jason Ball.
Yes, it was an incredible finish from Jason Ball, and it was just as the fight was really opening up. Here we go. It's really beginning to open up.
And right there, straight up the middle. Again, he had the inside control on the clinch, and he is out. And he sets it up. He, boom, straight through the middle. Duncan goes down, and look at that was a hard knockout. Now, the punches are being thrown by Duncan. However, Ball is covering nicely, keeping the chin tucked, and he's just waiting to create that space to drive that knee, which landed on the butt straight through the middle. And I tell you what, that was amazing.
The problem for Duncan was something we'd highlighted throughout the whole fight. He was throwing his punches with his chin floating in the air, and as you said, Ball tucked up. Duncan was still throwing, and then suddenly it was all over.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Mark Woodard has called a stop to this fight at 2 minutes of the second round, declaring the winner by knockout. Out of the blue corner, Jason Daddy Cool Ball.